I now call this meeting of the Amateur Detective Club to order. My name is Dr. Acula.
I'm Melissa Meli, I think. The spy?
I'm Tyler Riley, confused.
My favorite thing is you're both so unwilling to go with it in any way, shape, or form. And I think that's so funny. It's funnier than yes-anding it. Okay,
I think we're going with it in a way. We're just not we're yesing it and not.
No, I'm
no-butting
it. I'm no-butting it.
All right, so this is Amateur Detective Club, where we review murder mystery media. If you're new to the podcast, why are you starting with this episode? That's crazy. You do what you want, but whatever. If you want to support us, we have a patreon.com/adcpod. You get episodes early there, and then we'll eventually find some more bonus content to be making. But we have a
tasteful nudes, perhaps.
Oh.
So this is what this feels like. Okay, I know, I get it. Now that I'm on the
reaction.
receiving end of it. Yeah, no, I get
Yeah,
it.
see?
Yeah, it feels a little but now all I can think of, the tasteful nudes are that of Poirot. So we've done
Suchet.
Yeah,
Hey,
a little.
I am not afraid of AI, is all that I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
But we have other bonus content there. We covered some Murder She Wrote episodes and a couple other things that are just only available there. Also,
is that where the Family Guy lives, or was that for the regular folk?
The for the regular folk. Yeah, no, that was on the main feed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know we did a summer of shorter things.
Yeah, short stuff summer. Yes, where we covered it, and there were fewer. And we also have a YouTube channel now, so you can subscribe there. The entire podcast is up there, as well as a couple of episodes we did with the McElroys of Travis, and then also Clint is his name.
Yeah, Clint McElroy. Mac.
Father McElroy.
Mac. The plane
many
walker.
sons.
Mm-hmm. So that's all I have to say at the beginning.
We're on Instagram at ADCpod.
Yeah, great. Why not? Love a little.
We also have a Facebook page and group. For the page, it is facebook.com/ADCpod. For the group, that's a mystery you have to solve, our friends.
The branding is so strong, though, eh?
So strong.
So strong. Could not be strong. We have a Twitter account, but I'm the only one on it, and I'm not using it well because I simply refuse to.
Because who's on Twitter anymore other than apparently Elmo?
Number one, yes.
And Elmo also learned what a mistake that was.
My friend Britt. Shout out to Britt Miggs. Very funny very funny comic friend of mine. She did her great TikTok where she's like, Elmo was just trying to ask, how are you the way you would a work colleague? And you say you're good. And now I have to deal with all of this. It's really, really funny. I highly recommend you look up Britt Miggs.
That's great.
Laughing. I'll send it to both of you.
Yes, excellent.
Today we're talking about Only Murders in the Building, season 2, episode 6.
5.
Yeah, 5.
I hope we watched the right thing.
Yeah. No,
the Tell.
Yeah, the Tell.
And the heading on the note in my phone is this the one Tristan auditioned for?
This is. I'll address it right away. I auditioned to play. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn. I auditioned to play young Oliver. And I'll say this: the guy they got, I looked up his name and now I forgot it. Really good. Makes sense. Looks almost exactly like Martin Short. Can do card tricks. I'm like, yeah, okay. They were just going for something fundamentally different than what I could offer up. Yeah, I thought he was really good.
Was it legitimately not Zach Braff?
No. No. Did you think it was Zachary Brafferty?
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, I get like being upset you lost out, but like, of course they were with the name. It was my whole thing.
No, the fella what plays young Oliver. Let me look it up. He was doing card tricks. He was doing a really fun performance. He had a good like cadence that was similar to Martin Short. Yeah.
I do find that sometimes when I see someone got a part and it is just completely different than what I could have offered, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it certainly made me feel better about it.
Yeah,
his name is
Samuel
Farnsworth. Samuel Farnsworth, and he's been on Dickinson and Late Bloomers, a couple other things. He seems around. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So no ill will here.
Right.
But yeah, it opens up with Oliver's.
Okay, well,
what? Hmm?
At least we recorded in February where it can be a little racist. So there's that.
Oh.
That's very funny.
Are you sure?
100%. I love Zach Braff as an actor. Big Scrubs head over here. I would have recognized my man. Also, Zach Braff is almost 50, I think, at this point.
I just thought he shaved. Shaved and threw a wig on him. Like that's out of the realm of possibilities in this show.
You know,
that's true.
Fair enough.
Amazing.
But we open with Oliver's son, whose name I can't recall.
Will.
He's like, my dad is really good at figuring out secrets, but I have one, dun dun dun, basically. And then they cut to the flashback.
He says, my father is good at figuring out other people's secrets. The trick to it is not knowing the secret you have, which is the dumbest thing I have ever heard in my life. And I was so mad that that's what we got. And then like on to the next thing. It was like, no, we need to deal with that stupidity right here and right now.
Amazing. Well, I mean, if you don't know something, it's a great secret because you're a secret from yourself too.
No one's trying to figure that out.
Oh, Tyler's face is so good.
That is, yeah, no, it sounds good, but it is kind of nothing, eh?
That's fair.
I don't know, but like, you know, who among us hasn't said a big pile of nothing?
I certainly have.
Fair. I definitely did this week because I think I mentioned on the podcast before that like I work, like part of my responsibility at TDF is being a part of this mentorship program.
Mm-hmm.
And so we see a show and we have this discussion afterwards. So the mentor tosses out a question to the kids that they just like were not ready to answer. So I tried to buy time, but like speaking, and then I just spoke in circles about nothing.
Great. Good.
Kind of like just right now. That was very much that energy in that moment.
I love it. Yeah, so we have Will narrating. He's doing a family tree project with his son. His name I do not know.
Henry.
I don't think they tell us the kid. Oh, is it?
Yeah, Henry. It's got to be Henry, not Harry.
Because
there's not very many Black Harrys. I'm just going to say that. There's Belafonte like in the list,
and that's it. Yeah.
You don't know many Heralds?
No,
but they just don't go by Harry. Like that's a choice that you make at an age.
True. Isn't Harry a nickname for Henry?
I thought it was for Harold.
It is, but I thought also, which sounds insane because, like, anything ending with a Y feels like it's already a nickname, even though I know Henry is not.
It's Henry.
Okay, good.
Henry Putnam.
Oh, with they're talking about the nickname. Apparently, Hank is where that is the thing. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Hank.
Harry is also listed as a variation, so fair.
All right, yeah, it's a weird one. That's why it stuck in my head, I think. But so we have a flashback to young Oliver in the 70s, and it's very 70s, and it's really great and stylized. And he does mention something about Teddy. There's a guy sitting over next to him, and he addresses Teddy. And I'm like, is that young Teddy Demas?
It is indeed.
It does become clear that is true. And then we get another flashback, but it's a later flashback. So it is.
And it's all surrounding this party game called Son of Sam, which is basically like Mafia or Traders or whatever.
Yeah.
Have you been watching Traders at all?
No,
I am about to start, though. I just got the recommendation.
It's good. It's very fun.
Oh.
And I'm not a reality TV person, but Alan Cumming is so fun in it.
Okay, I did see a preview for that, and I was like, this seems like I would enjoy this.
Yeah, we saw a trailer during Royal Rumble.
Oh, well, then.
Royal Rumble.
That'll do it.
Which is also in the Peacock.
Yes.
Did P used to mean something else?
What?
Because I understand you look
the vegetable.
Because you look at peacock, right? I get the cock part of it. He's kind of like a chicken. I understand. Whatever. Okay. Who cares? And there's peahens, right? Those are the female. What the suffix of P in peacock? What on God's green earth? Is it because the little dots, the eyes? They look like pea pods?
Why are peacocks called peacocks?
I'm gonna Google.
Hey, Google, why peacock?
Why peacocks the way they are?
Peacocks called that.
Good. In the meantime, as Tristan is Googling, we have a kid version of his son Will, and he's sneaking into one of Oliver's parties after he's supposed to be asleep. And it's the Son of Sam party. And so, Oliver excuses himself from the party and says, did you just sneak out of bed? And he says, no. And he says, that I can tell that you did sneak out of bed because everybody has a tell. And he says, you don't like to sleep in your socks and you're wearing your socks. So that's a tell. Your door is ajar. And you like to sleep with your door completely closed. So that's a tell. I can tell that your mom is not the killer because it means
she ate cheese.
She ate cheese, and that means she's relaxed, which I enjoyed as a little anecdote. Also very observant of your partner. Very sweet. So,
Well, we'll get to how observant he is, but
that's true.
Yes, fair. But it's a nice thing to notice about your partner.
It is.
She feels relaxed. That's good. She's eating some cheese. I like that. I also eat cheese when I'm relaxed or nervous or just literally anytime because I love cheese.
Yeah, we get it. You're white. No.
Oh, other people eat cheese.
I know. I'm just joshing around. I also want to address my neighbor just turned on some music, so that's there. I can't. It's New York City, baby. I'll try and.
No, I would not have known if you didn't say anything.
Good. So
shout out to Zoom because it has performed far better than remember how it used to be.
Yeah, I'm still shocked that Skype somehow dropped the ball. I think that's incredible.
Really? There needs to be a documentary on the biggest fumble of all time.
Truly.
That was theirs for the taking.
Pea is an obsolete word for peafowl and is etymologically unrelated to the vegetable. Okay. Like the obsolete poe and the Scottish pawn, which are other words for peafowl, it ultimately comes from the Latin word pavo.
Edgar Allan Pocock, is that something?
Probably.
I have no idea, but why are they called what does it mean?
It just means that bird. I think it just means the bird.
But what does it mean?
It's not the putiki tiki. Not everything has to exist for a reason.
Ooh.
True.
Sometimes you just pick a name and that's what a thing is called.
That's true.
The etymology is that's it. So so Will goes to bed. Oliver goes back outside and continues the party. He does this whole, flourish monologue and then finally lands on the son of Sam killer is Teddy Demas. And he points to him and says, "You are the killer," which is very fun because, of course, we know that he is a killer IRL.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. I will say this interesting thing about hearing the words you auditioned with several times over and over in an episode. I'm like, no, it all came flooding back. But yeah, anyhow. Yeah, I think that is very funny. Then doesn't it cut to modern day afterwards?
Yes, it does. Well, first we get the whole "you can keep a secret if you don't know what the secret is."
Which is like, yeah. You're right, Tyler. It is so stupid because if you don't know a thing, what are you talking about? Sorry, I didn't
I'm keeping a secret
I'm
keeping a secret from myself. I don't know the forecast to tomorrow.
Oh boy.
All right.
Does everyone know the son of Sam?
No. I know
he's some sort of
son of Sam, but not the.
Okay.
So some sort of murderer, right?
Yes, that's right. From the 70s, as you might have deduced from this episode. So there was a spree of crimes that was happening in New York, and it was usually couples out on dates where
you gotta be chased. This is the problem. You can't go out on dates. That's
honestly, that was like a thing that people were talking about.
It got New York locked you down, pretty much, right?
Yeah. Also, they were telling women to change their hair because I cannot remember I don't know if I'm conflating Bundy and Son of Sam, but I think it was a very particular looking woman who was out on a date.
Yeah, a blonde woman. Because that's part of the game as well. It's
part of the game. Yeah, it sounded unfamiliar, which is why I might be conflating it with Bundy because Bundy went for brunettes, I guess. Kind of. He didn't really. He just anyway. That's a whole different crime. But so these couples would go out on dates and they would be shot to death. And it happened many times in New York during the 70s. Eventually, a man named David Berkowitz was arrested, and he said that his neighbor's golden retriever, Sam, I think Sam was the name of the golden retriever, if I'm remembering this correctly. Mm-hmm. But he did say that the golden retriever told him that he needed to kill people. Yep.
See, proof. Not all dogs are good boys. Some of them tell people to murder people.
No, that's hearsay.
Gone tomorrow.
You were not a part of that conversation. So mind your mouth is all I'm saying.
I think that the dog is falsely accused in this case.
Yes. I don't know about that.
Where's the GoFundMe for the dog? What happened to the dog?
Well,
I have bad news. That dog is probably long gone. It's very sad, actually. Upstate. He jumped off from a bridge. He couldn't deal with the kill.
No, he is very happily.
How dare.
He died at a very old age. I have no idea, but what I like to think is that he went very, very peacefully after a long, wonderful life of not telling David Berkowitz to kill people.
What I like to think about is the Spike Lee film about that summer where you get to see Patti LuPone topless.
Hey, nice. What's the name of that movie that you definitely didn't make up?
I believe it was just called Son of Sam.
There is definitely a movie called Son of Sam.
Yeah, she's not super prevalent in the film. It's John Leguizamo, Adrian Brody.
Oh, sure, yeah,
Michael Imperioli. Oh, it was Summer of Sam. Summer of Sam.
Oh, that's a good title.
Okay, I haven't seen that. Yeah. it was also during the summer when that happened. Anyway, so that is what the Son of Sam killer is. That was all off the top of my head, and I consume a lot of true crime, so if I got some stuff wrong, I don't know what to tell you.
Let us know in the comments, or tell a friend to, like, oh my gosh,
tell a dog like, to tell us.
Listen to this podcast and listen to more episodes of that podcast.
Please come correct me. Please don't.
I can't imagine having the wherewithal to do anything really in the summers in New York, but specifically murder. It's so messy, and you're really working hard, right? I can't imagine. It's so hot in New York in the summertime. I couldn't do it.
Well, that's why I can imagine.
Oh, yeah. Someone snaps because of the heat. Yeah. Okay. True.
It's like,
Yeah. There's also, of course, all sorts of conspiracy theories and speculation that there might have been another person.
Mm-hmm.
It does seem like Berkowitz was mentally ill. So, what exactly he was capable of. Like, it seems like he definitely did the murders, but, did he have accomplices? It is possible. Yes. Anyway, so that is where that all comes from.
Yeah.
So then we do get the credits, and we go to present day, and Jan says to Charles, as he is visiting her in prison through like the little glass with the phone thing, yeah, Jan says, I'm worried about us. Are we okay? And like, they're still dating. And Charles is like, are you insane?
She's like, yes.
She says, well, I mean, yeah. He says, okay, well, I want to know who killed Bunny. Do you think you can help with that, since you are who you are?
Yeah.
And Jan says, does someone have a new friend? Is someone trying to get close to one of you? That's your killer.
Mm-hmm.
So, cut to Mabel on the phone with Alice.
And she's like, not the catacomb. She's in the walls.
She's
Mabel's in the
walls.
Yeah. Yeah. Mabel's in the
walls.
Yeah. And Alice is talking about, hey, I have like the building is leaking and I'm supposed to have this party here. Can we have it in your giant palatial building instead? And Mabel's like, yeah, sure, that sounds fine. And then Mabel sneaks up into her apartment. Is that what we're... Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But she finds a matchbook in the passageway because, Bunny was in her apartment as she died. So she's now thinking that the murderer went out of the passageway and dropped this matchbook. So then we get a scene of Oliver helping Will with the Wizard of Oz, and Oliver's bulldog is playing Toto, which was very important to me. Very cute. And he has like a little wig on to make him look like a Karen Terrier, which is hysterical. And so then Oliver gets called back to the Arconia. The trio is in Mabel's apartment looking at this matchbook. It's for the Pickle Diner, which it seems like is the place Bunny frequented daily. And this matchbook had a red mark on it. Was it a spot of blood? Or, as Charles keeps saying, was it ketchup?
Nail polish.
In this sequence, there's also like a nice little exchange that Oliver and Charles get into about the whole like Oliver North debacle. What is it called? The Iran-Contra suit?
The Iran-Contra affair, yes.
And it's really nice because it's you don't often see Charles and Oliver like kind of get along like friends, like Steve and Martin are. And so it's like really nice to see like, oh, they're bringing more of that chemistry that they have in. It's a really fun little bit.
That's all. It's, and then Mabel is like, they just keep talking about 80s events and Oliver talks about like Reagan, who I didn't always agree with politically, but he had, great hair, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what in the world is happening? And Mabel stops them. So they go to the diner to check things out.
Mm-hmm.
And they're having a chat, and they say that the killer is probably an artsy type because the killer is has gotten very creative, blah, blah, blah. Like there's a narrative being spun.
And then also there's the painting aspect of it, knowing the value of that.
Right. And that he's crawling through the secret passageways. And then, right.
Or they.
Or they.
Or true.
And so Alice texts, just as I think Charles says, is anyone new trying to get close to us?
Mm-hmm.
And Mabel's like smiling down at her phone. And so she explains who Alice is and says that they've been on a few dates. And Charles is like, oh.
Mm-hmm. Like it never occurred to her. Him, rather.
Yeah. But then...
And then Oliver has some line. It's like, I'm really glad that bisexuality is more like forward-facing these days, because it was really hard to explain to people how I had a lesbian lover back in the 80s. And I'm like, that's weirdly correct.
Yeah.
Like it's actually...
Like this feels wrong, but it's actually very correct.
Yeah, that's... Like, yes.
No, wait a minute. Yeah, actually, yes.
Right, exactly. But Mabel mentions that they're having the party at the building that night, and then the Oliver and Charles invite themselves to the party, basically.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
She says, please be normal.
As if they're normal for them is not great.
You just, at that point, you just have to know what you're inviting in.
Yeah. Two old geezers. That's what.
Yeah, I mean, she means normal for normal, not normal for them.
Precisely.
So the party starts, and Alice immediately endears herself to Charles by telling him that she saw an obscure Swedish movie that he did, where he played a park ranger. And it was like, I don't know, a weird sex film, not a porno, but Oliver does call it a porno later.
Yeah.
It's just like, it just sounds like it's a very, very sexy movie. Very artsy and whatnot. And yeah, like no one would have seen this movie.
And apparently he was only in it for what she refers to as half a scene.
Yeah. But in the hands of anyone else, she just really lays it on thick. So now Charles is like, well, it can't be her. She's great. So Oliver decides to play his Son of Sam game.
And leaves Charles by himself. And he goes, I'm bad at parties. And he turns to someone and goes, hi, I feel uncomfortable right now because I'm worried I'm coming across as creepy. And then they walk away. And it's this moment of like, I feel like that's actually Steve at a certain point. Because I don't know if I've mentioned this before. Tommy Smothers, God rest his soul, famously said, being alone with Steve Martin is like being alone.
Yeah.
So I love that like element of like, he just is so awkward. He has no idea what to do or say. It's very good.
That this is where the episode kind of threw me a curveball. Because I feel like there was even more an argument to be made for me as Oliver. When Alice is like, oh, I have the same waistcoat. And he goes, I think not. It was very much me energy.
Yes, you're right. That was you energy.
As That's is true. The rest of his dealing with Alice in this episode. Like any comment directly to her is like me when I do not like someone in a social setting.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. I see it.
We'll figure it out. We'll have to do a poll at the end.
Oh boy. So Oliver decides that he's going to play the Son of Sam game with these people, and he gives them pills.
They look like M&Ms.
They look like M&Ms or like red and blue Mike and Ike's. So everyone, like, suddenly it changes to everyone's in 70s clothes, and it's very, very cute.
Steve looks just like Steve looked in the 70s when he was doing stand-up. It's very funny.
Yeah. So everyone immediately accuses Charles, and yes.
He has a great line that I found deeply relatable as someone who moved to New York for school from Minnesota. And he says, "Oh, no, I'm not a killer. I'm just a teenage co-ed here to kiss my first Italian." And I'm like, yeah, correct. Sorry, a teenage co-ed from the Midwest here to kiss my first Italian. Like, yeah, 100%. That's what you do. You move from the Midwest, and you.
But isn't like Chicago the Midwest?
Yeah,
not just Chicago.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like you don't have to like go that far.
There's not a lot of
Italians in Chicago.
Not many,
aren't there?
It's mostly Irish people and Greek people. Yeah, and of course the rest of the wasps just floating about.
Well, I digress.
So everyone thinks it's Charles. It's not. And then he drops out of the game and he starts eating pretzels.
Which points for me towards being Chucky, because every time there's some stupid game like this, I'm like, I'm just going to get eliminated and I want to be on my phone. I truly don't want to. I don't find much joy in any of this.
Fair. But then we go through the game a little bit. The murderer keeps murdering, quote unquote, and then Oliver starts interrogating Alice.
Yeah, because it's just Alice and Mabel.
And he says, "You're lying not only in the game, but also in real life. You didn't go to Oxford, blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "You know what? I didn't go to Oxford. My parents weren't rich. But I felt like in order to give my art some value, like I couldn't be the daughter of a plumber from Sussex." And so she storms off and is very upset. But
and also as she leaves,
this is what people do at parties.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Melissa, go.
Please continue.
As
one of them says, "If this is what people do at parties,
yeah, it's fucking."
Am I freezing?
There might be a delay.
I believe there is a lag. Is the main issue. Okay. So Melissa, you go.
Someone says, "If this is what people do at parties, I'm out."
That's Charles. That's Charles, so. And also points towards me. But as Alice leaves, she shoves her card into Oliver's chest, and she was not the killer, which means therefore Mabel was and is good at hiding things. Ooh. So then Mabel and Alex go talk in the bathroom or whatever, and they make up, and then they smooch a bit. And then it cuts to the next day with Will showing up to Oliver's apartment. And basically Will's like, "I did that family tree thing with my son. And are you sure you're 100% Irish?" And then, it's not often you see white on white racism in media anymore. But Martin Short proceeds to do one of the most offensive Irish accents I've ever heard in my life.
Was he not quoting the current president of Ireland? Like, that's what I...
Yeah. You hate to see xenophobia. No, it's fine. It's just like really, really Lucky the Leprechaun-esque. A tiddly tiddly her. But he says, Will says, "I got the DNA test and it turns out that I'm 100% that bitch. But also, I'm half Greek. What's up with that?"
Yeah. And It's also like, I don't know how I feel about this part of the episode still, but as Will is coming in, like Oliver's like preparing like food for himself, or like making like getting a snack stuff together, and it's all Greek like things from what Demas's deli.
Yes.
Right. And so he then looks down at the tray in front of him with all of this Greek stuff on it. And then we flash back to that 1980s party that we flashed to before, where they're playing the Son of Sam game. And he is able to deduce that his son is really Teddy's son.
Now, my stupid ass was like, when he looks down at the Greek food, I'm like, oh, he must have like a natural inclination towards Greek food because secretly he is Greek and his parents lied to him. And I'm like, that's not how that works at all. And my other issue with this is I can't buy Nathan Lane ever having sex with a woman. I'm sorry. I just cannot do it.
Did you buy Martin Short and a black woman? That was okay. A black woman like willingly copulated with Oliver multiple times in your mind, and that's okay.
Listen, he's charismatic.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. It's called acting, I suppose.
Oh, I was going to say suspension of disbelief. I was like, at a point, like we just let things, we leave them to God in this show.
Yeah. There was also a moment where Oliver sees someone dropping an envelope of money.
Oh, right.
And it looks like the envelope of money that Bunny had given to the server. Ivan.
Yeah, Ivan.
Right? Yeah.
Ivan. And yeah, he goes to the pickle and talks to Ivan. And there's someone, he sees security camera footage of the conversation between Bunny and the person that she met before, the day before she died. But it's really unclear.
Honestly, also upgraded to 4K.
Yeah.
I felt that.
Yeah. Because it's very grainy, black and white security cam footage. And it's like absolutely nothing. But he does, the person that confronts Bunny does take a matchbook on the way out. Right. Good call, Melissa. Good memory.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So.
Oh, and Oliver then sends the video to Charles and Mabel over text with a message. I hope this makes up for last night, or something along those lines.
Oh, and there's also a scene with Charles who's like now just talking to Jan, and they're getting horny over the phone.
Yeah,
over blueberry bagels.
Over blueberry bagels.
And
then I don't like blueberries, but like I started to crave a blueberry bagel myself, and like
you gotta get on the blueberry. You gotta be
on like blueberries. Okay.
You gotta get blueberry pilled, man. They're so good.
I mean, I feel like if this is ever going to happen, I did live very close to the blueberry capital of the world, Hamilton, New Jersey, when I was in college.
New Jersey blueberries are famously some of the best.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Maybe if you know who else likes blueberries, Tyler? Bears. So maybe if you like pretend you're a little bear or whatever, and as you're eating the blueberries, that'll make it easier. I don't know how you go about eating food. But
by the claw,
yeah,
as a bear would.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be kind of fun to do like a bear themed like meal where you have like blueberries with and nuts with the salad and then the salmon.
It's really just like Greek yogurt and salmon. It's essentially like
granola. That's what I had.
And like some
honey.
Honey.
Has to be honey.
I literally had Greek yogurt, honey, blueberries, and like granola. So maybe I'm the bear. The bear is coming from inside the house.
Did you eat with your little paws?
Yeah, I did. They're so sticky. Oh, bother.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Especially if you eat them with no pants. Only a shirt.
Yes, only a shirt, no pants.
Yeah.
Excellent. Can't lose. Certainly nothing wrong with that. Nothing's going to get sticky or weird.
No. I mean, that's how you be there, I guess.
So what'd you think of the episode, guys?
The episode was an episode of
it certainly was 20 minutes.
It was like 35.
Okay.
I like this one. It feels like it's one of those groundwork laying episodes. I like the like whole 70s flashback aspect of it. That's fun. We get to see a little bit more development for Oliver, which is neat. It's hard to really assess the value of this one without knowing where it's going. Because I feel like I'm like, okay, is this gonna be good? Is it? So I guess I give it like a 3.5, 3.75. Just because I don't know. Where is this going?
For sure. I would say like a 3.5. Like it does feel like it's we're moving right along sort of episode. And I'll say this though, all the camera work in this episode was incredible. Like when Oliver is doing the various like in the flashback, it's like kind of zipping around in a sort of Edgar Wright style. And then when he's doing it in the 80s, it's handheld and it's panning around and it's very frenetic. It's really fun stuff. I wish there were a couple more jokes to make the exposition go down a little easier. But yeah, it feels like a very much like we're just trying to lay the groundwork for the rest of the mystery and give a little bit of background, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, 3.5 for me as well. It was going to get 4, but the lack of Mrs. Gambolini really took a toll this episode. I agree about the camera work. I really love the scene in the bathroom between Mabel and Crazy Eyes McGee when they're like having their little confrontation. Because like the shots on Mabel had what's her nuts in the mirror, like so you can see them like side by side. And I really
Alice.
like that. Who?
Alice is the character's name, played by Clara Duvernay.
Gotcha. I love
Crazy Eyes McGee though is
Crazy Eyes McGee. Yes, what was the other thing you said? Called her?
I don't remember.
Yeah, all good stuff.
Oh, and I do appreciate the fact that Cardigan was only referenced in this episode.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, he has a yodeling group now.
Yes, he has a yodeling group, apparently. That sounds unpleasant.
You don't like a
right up his alley.
You don't like a yodel?
I mean, not when people are practicing yodeling.
True.
Yeah. Gosh, there was like a meme or something, a meme list that I saw that was like a whole list of apartment rules. And it was one of those things that was like, this developed from a very specific set of circumstances. And I love that. It's like the mail slot that outside the library that says, please knock so that, we know that you're not a squirrel trying to steal our lunch. But yeah, those kind of vibes. But this was like no yodeling at any time. And I'm like, at any time? So you've got to be able to practice your yodeling within some sort of hours. But yes, I love that kind of stuff.
Honestly, my favorite Disney villain song features a lot of yodeling.
Which is?
From Home on the Range.
A film I've never seen.
Oh, it's kind of a hard sell now because it's Roseanne Barr, Judi Dench, and Jennifer Tilly with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Okay, so it's 2 out of 5. I'm like, but I love Judy.
It's a time.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the one time she's done voiceover.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
No, that there's got to be other. So.
Because she was on Graham Norton going, he went, Judy, you've done a bit of voice acting. And she went, have I? She didn't remember it at all, which I think is so funny. I love
Currently,
her.
she is she's the narrator for the ride at Epcot, Spaceship Earth. It's very pleasant, and they keep talking about refurbing the ride, and I'm like, no, we can't lose the Judi Dench narration.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's very nice.
Do you know if Eric Idle is still a part of Figment?
Figment?
Figment's Imagination?
I do not know what that
yes,
is.
I'm pretty sure. Yes, he is.
Isn't it crazy how almost everyone from Monty Python is like a cool and normal person, and then John Cleese is just the biggest asshole in the world?
It's so disappointing.
Doesn't it suck? It's like,
yeah.
I guess Terry Gilliam is also famously, let's say, a complicated man.
Let's just say, just stop. Cleese and thank you.
And with that, I now call this meeting, the Amateur Detective Club, to a close. My name is Tristan Miller.
My name is Melissa Meli, and gavel sound.
I would.